Act 5. McCall home, Scott's room. Towel around his waist, Scott yanks his closet door open and starts tossing clothes onto his bed. Melissa McCall. Big date? Scott, Mom, a little privacy, please. Melissa, hold on, what do we have here? She approaches, feeling his chin with her thumb. McCall, I think it might be time for you to start shaving. Something begins to happen to their voices, and the quality starts to change, becoming teeny and pulled back. Outside the house, Scott and his mom can be heard talking. I don't even have a razor, Scott said. Then further down the street, their voices take on the same effects as those that Scott can hear when he was listening into the conversation at school and the police station. Melissa, you better borrow one of mine. I'll go get it. Stay right here. No less than 100 yards away, but still within the line of sight at the house, someone stands beside a black Dodge Challenger, listening in on a conversation. Derek Hale. Party house. In the backyard of a dimly lit house, Scott and Allison stand awkwardly among the crowd of a drunk and high teenagers. Scott peers down at the table with the booze. Scott, so what do you drink? Allison, I don't know. Scott, me either, actually. Maybe we should try beer. Wait here, I'll hit the keg. Allison, perfect. Near a blazing fire pit, Scott fills up 2 cups at the crowded keg where a sound catches his attention. A dog barking, a huge Rottweiler in the yard next door just beyond the chain link fence, and it's barking at Derek. He stands behind the fire pit staring straight at Scott, but then he shoots a look at the Rottweiler and the dog stops barking instantaneously. Eyes locked on the animal, Derek gives an almost imperceptible nod. Tail between his leg, and the Rottweiler simultaneously lowers to a sitting position. Satisfied, Derek turns his attention back to Scott, who grips the 2 overflowing cups in his hands. And for the briefest second, Derek's eyes flash yellow. Party girl order. Dude, you done? A stunned Scott hands off the keg tap to the party girl lower. When he looks back to the fire pit, Derek is gone. Scott turns, glancing at the other teens in the yard, to the chain link fence, and then up to the roof where a shadowy figure seems to disappear just past the chimney. Scott steps back, trying to see if he actually did just witness Derek leaping 20 feet off the ground, but there's nothing there. Handing a cup to Allison, Scott keeps throwing nervous glances back to the outside porch of the house. He takes a gulp of beer and then coughs, nearly spitting it out. Scott, that tastes terrible. Allison laughs at him, covering her mouth with her hand. Scott, now I see what they mean about an acquired taste. Allison, I've actually never been drunk before. I usually go to these parties and just stand there with a Diet Coke. Scott, Styles and I got drunk on tequila one night. The next morning, I felt like I had a flamethrower pointed at my forehead. Allison, okay, since neither of us is good at drinking, how are you at dancing? Scott, much better. Infinitely better. Under the driving pulse of the techno, Scott takes her hand, pulling her into the crowd of dancing teenagers. Then, as they begin moving, as Allison starts to smile back at him, the usually timed Scott begins to let go. His hands reached around her waist, with the other teens pushing them closer. Bodies pressed against each other, her cheek brushes lightly onto his. Then, through the crowd, Scott notices Lydia dancing with Jackson, grinding close to him. Her fingers were wrapped around the back of his neck. She presses her lips to Allison's, locking him in a passionate kiss. As he eagerly kisses her back, his hands slide down her waist. Lydia opens her eyes and looks right at Scott, staring at him as she kisses Jackson, unused to the attention of one beautiful girl, much less 2. Scott finds himself dumbstruck until the bodies of the dancing teens push together to leave him alone with Allison again. As Scott peers into her eyes for a second, it almost looks as if they are about to kiss. Then the thumping bat of a music begins driving faster, starting to sound almost like a quickening of a heartbeat, Scott's heartbeat. The sound around him intensifies. His fingers clench back veins on the surface of his hand as he presses against the fabric of Allison's shirt. His upper lip pulls up momentarily to reveal sharpened incisors. Lights glaring in his eyes, Scott takes a hard swallow as his breathing tightens. Sweat beading his temples, he loses the beat of the music, stepping back and pulling away. Scott, sorry, I have to use the bathroom, Scott says. Allison, are you okay? But he hurries past her and into the hallway. Teeth clenched and a sudden wave of pain slams Scott's back against the wall, tremors shuttling through his body. Waiting in line for the bathroom, Harley notices him against the wall, his arms wrapped around his stomach. Harley, Scott, are you alright? But he doesn't answer, pushing through the crowd, trying to find an exit out of the house, but one door leads to the teens making out on the bed, another to a smoke-filled room crowded with stoners. He can't seem to find a way out. Gasps sound more like an animalistic growls. He crashes through a kitchen, shoving past people to the open door and out the backyard. Harley finds Scott near the fire pit outside. Harley, hey, I just saw Scott leave. I think he had too much to drink. Stiles, what? What do you mean? But before she can answer, a panicked party girl charges in from the back door. Panicked party girls, cops are here! Suddenly everyone is moving, darting from an escape. Excuse me. McCall home. Scott stumbles into his room, slamming the door shut, but even as he's turning the lock, another wave of pain wrecks his body. He falls back, hidden in his dresser, and catching his reflection in the mirror above where two glowing yellow eyes stare right back at him. Crouched on the floor, breathing hard and with sweat streaming down his forehead, Scott squeezes his eyes shut, trying to push back the animal inside when someone pounds on the door. Scott, go away! Stiles, Scott, it's me! Hearing the panic in his friend's voice, he pulls himself up and unlocks the door, but only allows the door open an inch. Stiles, let me in, Scott, I can help! Scott, no. Eyes burning yellow, he stays hidden behind the door. Scott, listen, you have to find Allison. Take her home. Stiles, she's fine. I saw her get a ride. She's totally fine. Scott, Stiles, I think I know who it is. Stiles, let me in and we can talk. Scott, it's Derek. Derek Hales, the werewolf. He's the one who bit me. He's the one who killed that girl in the woods. Scott listens, but there's nothing but shocked silence from the other side of the door until Scott? Derek's the one who drove Allison from the party. McCall home. Bedroom window thrown open. Scott lunges himself out from the second story, 15 feet up. Then his feet hit the pavement. His crouched figure slowly draws up to reveal he's no longer struggling against the transformation. He's given into it. Not the Hulk and Beast of most werewolf horror films. This is a leaner, more human monster, but both powerfully muscular and strangely seductive with the gleaming yellow eyes, incisions reformed into fangs, eyes tipped to the points with thickening wilder hair, and fingernails grown to razor-sharp claws. The 16-year-old boy is gone. Stiles is now a werewolf, charging down the driveway and into the darkness in search of Allison and the danger she faces. Fade to black. End of pilot presentation.